Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Aureo, or Golden Wind if you prefer, episode 15. So, yeah. Last episode, we got the beginning of a new set of episodes, and what seems like not really a new arc per se, but the next stage of this arc. So we have Prosciutto and Pesci. Pesci has Beach Boy, and Beach Boy is a stand that is a fishing rod. He can use it to fish out anyone or anything, even through walls or just physical barriers in general. He can also use it to set traps, sort of like reeling out the line to catch fish using some bait. But then we also have Prosciutto, whose stand is the Grateful Dead, which is probably one of my favorite stands so far, in all of JoJo, I mean, too. Because, for one, the Grateful Dead's ability is honestly one of the most terrifying abilities you could give to a stand, in my opinion. See, the Grateful Dead releases this toxic gas that degrades the body at such a rapid rate that basically you rapidly age until you die. The only way to stop it is by being cold. Basically, the colder you are, the colder like your body temperature is, the slower you age. Which is why we see Pesci chewing on some ice, and why we see it affecting certain people more than others. So it's rather interesting. Quite terrifying. I mentioned in my last reaction that just the sight of someone rapidly aging like that is terrifying to me. It's legitimately one of the freakiest things possible in my eyes. So yeah, it's just definitely got my attention there. But I also had mentioned about the fact that last episode we didn't have a new opening, despite the fact that in terms of the narrative of the story and the way the series was being laid out, it would have made a lot of sense for it to start last episode. I don't think it's starting this episode. I don't think we're getting a new opening in the middle of this this thing with Pesci and Prosciutto. Maybe after this, maybe next episode, if this battle ends with this episode. We'll have to see. But some other things to note. We have Mista being sent out to try and stop the opponent, because his stand is good for assassination specific missions. We also see that he ends up getting caught on Pesci's Beach Boy, because he legitimately tries to do something that would be smart normally. But yeah, Beach Boy is... Pesci was pretty smart there too, let's put it that way. But then we have the turtle. I forgot the turtle's name, but the stand is Mr. President. And the turtle is just an ordinary turtle with the stand ability that if a certain key is placed within its shell basically becomes a safe room of sorts. People can hide within it and use it basically as travel. The transportation that the boss was sending to Bruno's gang was a frickin' turtle. The key went to a freaking turtle. That's hilarious. I mean, my first thought was a helicopter. And they thought that as well in the show. They thought, like, oh, it's going to be a helicopter, because that way they'd be possibly safe from enemy stands. But no, it's a freaking turtle. That's hilarious. But yeah, we left off with Mista getting caught by Beach Boy, and now it's basically what's going to happen next. I don't know if this is going to finish off these episodes here, but interested to find out either way. Just as another note, as you can tell, we're in my room. It's Saturday morning when I'm recording this. Unfortunately, I was not able to get to it before then. Yeah, it's really my only option at this point. I don't know when my father's going to wake up, or even if he's up now. So I just don't want to bother anyone. I just shoveled snow because we actually have I can't speak. We actually have snow now. For the first time this entire winter, we've had a real snowfall, and I hate it. I went to shovel before it got too bad, because apparently it's going to be snowing most of the day. I'm hoping someone else is willing to take it on again later if it needs to be. Snowing is one of the worst chores because it's so labor intensive. Plus, I don't do well in the cold. I have a hard time breathing in the cold. So, yeah. Not exactly the best chore for me. But I went out there and did it. I tried to get it done before it got really too bad, which was a very good idea. It didn't take long because it wasn't too high, but it was definitely enough to where it should have been shoveled at that point still. But yeah, if it had gotten any worse than that, it would have been hell. Either way, we're going to get started on this. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so I was saying that maybe next episode is where the opening is going to start, but then I was thinking, wait, no, if this is a part 1 of the Grateful Dead, I guess 2-parter, then there's no way, right? But then I thought about part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, where the second opening started during the second episode of a 2-parter involving the debut of what is his name? His name is escaping me right now. Oh my goodness. He uses Heaven's Door. Rohan Kishibe. During Rohan's debut in part 4, in the second episode of his 2-parter, that's where the new opening debuted. And I always thought that was weird. And it could happen again here with the second episode of The Grateful Dead. I guess we'll just have to see. Maybe it'll be the episode after that. But it definitely has to happen soon, because it's getting to that point where it would be really weird to have it start later than this. But yeah, so this was The Grateful Dead Part 1, and it was good. We see how Mista deals with Pesci, and how Prosciutto comes back into play. Prosciutto's plan there, disguising himself as an ordinary passenger and having himself actually be aged up in order to do so, was phenomenal. I did not even notice it was him. Although he had those little things, those little rivets in his hair and everything. And yeah, he was wearing the same shirt under that he had under the jacket. I didn't realize it was him. I don't know, it's just, I never thought he would make that move, I guess. That was brilliant, to be honest. So he manages to get the upper hand on and almost kill Guido, Mista. But Mista manages to survive thanks to number 5, who then sends number 6 off to warn the others. And so, because of it, Bruno manages to be able to fight back against Pesci and Prosciutto, knocking Pesci out, and by the end of the episode, it looks like trying to make a self-sacrifice in order to take out Prosciutto. So yeah, quite an interesting way to end off the episode. The action in this was great. I mean, it was mostly action for this episode. And there's not really a lot to say about it as a whole, because there's not a lot that actually happened. It was mostly, just as I said, Mista versus Pesci. Prosciutto comes back in. Mista versus Prosciutto, very short. Prosciutto wins. And then Bruno coming in to fight Prosciutto. And it's just like, it was very simple, very basic, but what it was very good. Getting to see how Prosciutto can even use his stand ability to basically trick other people. And how it's clear he keeps all that ice in his jacket so that when he's using his ability, it won't affect him as long as he has the jacket on. And of course, there's just so much. There's so much in the episode without there being a lot to the episode, and I like that. But it really doesn't give a lot to talk about. I'm honestly trying to push it as it is, because there weren't any other characters really shown either. It was just our main heroes, Bruno's gang, and the villains. Everyone else we saw was just random people on the train who had been aged up. I mean, the thing with Bruno, or not Bruno, Mista, I knew he was going to survive that. I knew that they wouldn't kill off one of their main characters this soon. If they do kill off one of them, it's not going to happen till closer to the end. Sort of like they did with Stardust Crusaders and Kakegurui, Avdol, and Iggy. And then with Diamond is Unbreakable, I don't think they killed off any of the main characters, did they? At least none of the main heroes. Not that I can think of. Well, either way, with the kind of focus of this episode and with what it's about and everything, I could definitely see one or more characters dying, but yeah, just not this early. I mean, that would have been a huge surprise, to be honest. But yeah, I'm enjoying where this is going, and with the way the episode ended, I'm just wondering how there's going to be a part 2 of The Grateful Dead. Because it's like, this was specifically The Grateful Dead Part 1, so Part 2, it implies that the battle's going to continue. But with where it ended, with the suicide dive to outside the train, how's that going to happen, I wonder? I mean, I guess we'll find out. Either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Vento Aureo, or Golden Wind, if you prefer. Tell me what you thought of the Grateful Dead and how Prosciutto uses it, even on himself. Tell me what you thought of the continued display of Beach Boy, and what you thought of both Mista and Bruno's excellent plans in this episode in order to stop their enemies. Tell me your thoughts on all of that and more in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,